Sakafet YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl TERRI-ANN, of course. I hope you are having a wonderful day. For those of you who don't know, Sakafet means what's going on, how's it going. So this is all I mean when I say Sakafet YouTube, okay? Today on the menu, we're going to be making some delicious Dahl Puri Roti. Now, I already have a roti recipe, but this one is sort of like an updated version. I thought, you know what, the quality of that one was not so great, so let me just update it. Okay, my darlings? So, I hope you enjoy the recipe. Before you start watching this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel, of course. Join the family, man. What are you waiting for? Join the family. So to start off with, I'm going in with some chana dal. You can use some split peas. They are basically the same thing. And I'm just putting about 1.5 cups of chana dal in a pot. And then I'm going to rinse it out at least twice just to get rid of any starch. Sort of like how you would do if you were to wash rice. After you've washed and drained this twice, I'm just going to go ahead and boil this for about 25 minutes. But first, add a little bit of salt, and I'm adding also a little bit of turmeric powder. That is optional. You don't have to do it, but I just like that it gives the peas a nice little yellow color. And guys, keep your heat on a medium heat. Allow it to boil for about 25 minutes. Stir it occasionally. And also what I like to do, I just like to scoop off any excess foam at the top. After the 25 minutes is up, I'm going to check on my peas. And the way I know that it's cooked, I like to just take one and squeeze it between my fingers. Hey, you don't have to do this. You can always just put it on a surface and squeeze it with a spoon. So don't try this at home. So as you can see, it's crushing easily between my fingers. So now I'm just going to drain it off, and then I am just going to place it on some paper towels just so that the peas can drain off any excess water. Some people like to put it in a colander. Some people like to put it on paper towels. I'm one of those that like to put it on paper towels. And I'm going to let that sit for at least half an hour to an hour just so it becomes nice and cool and dry before we blend it up. While my peas are cooling, I'm going in with about 2.5 cups of plain flour, and we're going to be working on our dough. I'm using a 1/2 cup because for some reason my 1 cup is broken, so this is why I'm using this. So I've also gone in with a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt. The exact measurements for everything will be down below in the description box, so make sure you check it out. I'm also adding about 2 tablespoons of, not tablespoons, teaspoons, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and mixing that up with a spatula just to combine everything. After it's nicely combined, I have my lukewarm water, about 1.5 cups also, and I'm just adding it gradually to my flour. You don't want to add all of the water in one go because you're going to end up with a mushy mess, and you cannot say TERRI-ANN taught me this. So add a little bit at a time, gradually just mix it until it's gotten to sort of like a soft consistency. You don't want it to be drowning. That is very important. So far I've put in about 1 cup of the water, and I have about half left, and I probably will just use a little bit more of that before I start mixing it. I'm also going to be using my whisk for this. Not my whisk, my mixer. What am I saying? I'm using my mixer for this. and I'm using the dough attachments, and I'm just gonna mix this up for about 3 to 5 minutes until we have a nice smooth dough. If you don't have one of these, you can always just use a stand mixer, or you can use your hand the old-fashioned way, but I really didn't mind today. I thought, you know what, let me just use this easy gadget today. I'm adding just a little bit of flour because I noticed that my dough was looking really soft, and as you can see, I didn't even use all of the water. I only ended up using about 1.25 cups of the water, and as you can see, the dough looks very soft. So I'm taking out my mixer right now because my dough is done. Just rolling it into a ball, and before I put it back into my bowl, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil to prevent it from sticking. I'd say about a tablespoon, guys. I don't measure these things, but I'm just making the measurements as I go along for you guys, because yeah. Cover it up with a clean tea towel for about half an hour, and then we're gonna get started with grinding up our peas. My peas are nicely dried up, nicely cooled, nicely dried, and as you can see, I'm just showing you how it looks. It's nice and dry. So I'm also going to be adding about 5 cloves of garlic and 1 small Scotch bonnet pepper without the seeds to that. I love the little specks of red in my roti. The Scotch bonnet is optional. You don't have to do this. This is not the traditional way. But guys, this is my version, so if you want to do it, you can do it. It's not going to be spicy. It just has some nice little red specks, and you just get a little bit of spice every now and again when you take a bite, so it's not going to be spicy. But once again, you can leave it out. I've just grinded it up for about a minute or so. My mini food processor is absolutely amazing. I got it from Aldi here in the UK. It's not sponsored, but this is one of my favorite kitchen tools. I use it nearly every single day because if I'm not blending green seasoning, I am blending something, and it's just so amazing. So as you can see, we have a nice powdered form of that split peas. And look at how nice and yellow it is, and that is because of the turmeric powder that we added. So yes, my loves, I'm gonna do both batches, just showing you how smooth it is. It is gorgeous. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the second batch, and when I'm all done, I will show you how amazing it's looking. This is it all done. It's now time to season it up, but first let me give it a quick mix with my spatula. I'm going in with some salt, of course, and like I told you guys, the ingredient list will be down below in the description box. I'm also going to add just 1 small Maggi cube to this. This is optional, but I like the flavor of that in my Dahl Puri. I'm adding a little bit of thyme and a little bit of curry powder, as well as some garam masala and some cumin. This is my recipe. Like I said, don't come for me in the comments. This is my recipe. You can tweak it to your preference. You can substitute whatever you like. You don't have to put exactly what I put, but you can just follow my recipe as a guide. Now that my filling is done, I'm going to cover it up for a bit and set it to one side while we work on our dough. My dough has been resting for the past 30 minutes or so, and as you can see, it's nice and soft. The fact that I put some oil in there has prevented it from sticking to the bowl, and that is brilliant. I have some extra flour on the side because you will need some for frying. Not for frying, you will need some excess flour for rolling, and I am just adding a little bit of flour to the dough. I weighed my dough and I'm just sectioning each piece in about 120 grams or so. You don't have to weigh it, but I like my dal puri to be nice and equal, so I tend to just weigh them so that way all of them are sort of like the same size and weight. Okay, if you want, you can just section it into about 6 pieces, and after I've sectioned it off, I am just gonna roll them into some dough balls and set it to one side. Cover them up for about 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes it's gonna be time to fill them up. So now that my dough is nicely opened up, I'm gonna go in with about 2 heaping tablespoons of the filling, and you just want to put just enough to fill up the dough. Try not to overfill it because you'll not be able to close it, and you don't want it to burst when you're gonna roll it out. I'm now bringing all the edges together so I can seal up that dough. And guys, remember how you always wondered how do they put the filling inside that Dahl Puri Roti? Well, here's the secret. The secret is out. This is how you do it. I'm gonna do all 6 of them, and as you can see, guys, you can see a big difference between the one with the filling and the one without. And sure to put some flour underneath, as that will prevent it from sticking to your board or your surface. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and fill out all 6 of them. Once they're all filled, cover it up for about 10 minutes. And guys, I purposely did enough peas to have some left over just so I can show you how I store it. Sometimes it's not easy to actually get the exact amount of peas that you will need for your dough, so you will actually end up with some leftovers. What I like to do, I like to just put it into a freezer bag. You can put it into a bowl or a Ziploc bag, whatever you prefer, and store it in the freezer. Thaw it out at least a night before you do your roti. If I am doing this the following day, I tend to just keep it in my fridge, but what I like to do, I like to just label it with what's in there. So I'm just writing on the back a dal puri filling, and I am just dating it with today's date before I put it into my fridge, because sometimes you tend to just put it into the freezer and then you just forget it completely, or you end up putting a few bits of leftovers and you just forget what you have. So I like to keep mine for up to a month in the freezer. It never lasts a month, but this is how long I would personally keep mine for. Now that my dough is nicely rested, I am gonna roll it out. You need to be extremely careful with this because now that it has the peas, it's a little bit more fragile. Ensure to flour your surface. Make sure it has enough flour, a generous amount of flour, and gently roll it out. I tend to roll mine about an inch to an inch and a half thick. You don't have to roll it out too thin because I don't really like mine to be too thin. So this is why I'm rolling it out at least an inch and a half thick. Okay, so roll it out. Sometimes it is not easy to get it into that perfect circle shape, but guys, just try your best to do the best impression of a circle shape for this roti, because I've seen some before and they look triangle, they look square. At the end of the day, it's not really the shape that matters, it's more the taste. So just try your best. You can get it into an oval, a close enough circle, all of that will work. And be very gentle. I tend to just roll it on one side, flip it over, roll it again, but make sure you're constantly flouring. That way it doesn't burst and it doesn't stick to your rolling pin. After it's nicely rolled out, I tend to just flap it from one hand to the next to get rid of any excess flour. And now I have my tawa and I'm going in with some melted ghee butter and oil, and I'm just placing my roti onto my tawa. If you don't have a tawa, you can always just get a frying pan, because this is what I was using before I had a tawa, and this tower is perfect. It's cast iron. I love it so much. You can get it on Amazon by typing in cast iron tower and it should come up. Now that it's nicely oiled, you want to flip it over, and guys, I only fried mine for about a minute or two. I like when it have this little brown specks on there. This is how I like my roti. You don't have to let yours stay for so long. Like I said, anything between a minute or two is fine, but if you don't want any brown specks, just leave it for about a minute. I'm just oiling my tawa again and going in with another roti, and the process is so simple. When you add it to the pot, as soon as it starts getting some air bubbles, you oil it very well, and then after you oil it, you just flip it over. After about a minute or so, then you take it out. Sure your heat is on a low to medium heat throughout, because you don't want to burn your roti by putting it on high heat. So these are my gorgeous Dahl Puri Rotis all done. Do you see how amazing, guys? They're nice and soft, so hot and so fresh. Oh my goodness. Let me know in the comments what you'd enjoy yours with. I am gonna be having mine with some curry shrimp and potato. I just thought let me just add that little clip in there for you guys. So easy. You just clean and season up your shrimp with some salt, black pepper and green seasoning, and you just burn some curry powder in a little bit of oil and some onions. Add your curry shrimp to it, And I just like to add in my potatoes as well. I tend to parboil my potatoes beforehand because I find that method to work so well and you don't end up with rubbery shrimp or mushy potatoes. So I really like to do it like this. I tend to add just a little bit of water so that we can have a little gravy. Let it simmer for about 2 more minutes and it will be all done. So guys, I'm gonna be doing a taste test of this gorgeous roti. You guys, for some reason, always want to see me taste the food. Guys, we're gonna start off with a bit of potato and one of those juicy shrimp. Guys, this is so good. This is it. Okay, this is so nice. Look on, my love. Take your piece, ma'am. So good. So now we're gonna have a piece of that gorgeous roti, guys. Look at that. See? Oh my goodness. Listen, my loves. This is gonna be the biggest bite ever. Listen. Yes. Guys, can I tell you it's good? It's good, like real good. So guys, this takes me to the end of the video. I do hope that you enjoyed the recipe. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up on your way out, and if you haven't subscribed already, feel free to do it. Subscribing is free. It's a pleasure having you here, and I will definitely see you again in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.